Hello YouTube, I'm the Foam Witch, and it's finally time to release the video that so many people have been asking for on all of my social media platforms. It's time to show you all how I made the Gambit chest plate. Before we get into it, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you could hit that subscribe button now, that would be amazing. Otherwise, let's get to it. So the template that I'm using for this build is from Jub's Cosplay, and they are on Etsy. I will add their link into the description of this video so you can go and purchase the template for yourself and build along. So as always, I need foam, and for this I'm using 5mm and 10mm. And then I'm just drawing around the template onto the foam to transfer it. All of the shapes that I needed are on the single piece, so this is a template that I cut out as I went along. And then I just cut this out, and this gave the base that everything is going to be built up upon. This is where I start to cut out the different sections of the template. So at this point it's the neck piece and the piping. And then once I've transferred these pieces onto the foam, I just cut out the neck piece section and set that aside to work on later. And now it's time to build those rippling muscles, and I really wish that building muscles in real life was this easy. And using the template to guide me, I cut out each individual section of the muscles, until I ended up with this amazing six-pack. Now the edges of these pieces were all very straight, so I used my Dremel just to round off all the edges to make them look a bit more smooth. And hopefully you can see here what that did to the piece. So this one is with the straight edge just after cutting, and then the other one is after the dremeling, and it gives it just a nice beveled edge that makes it look clean. To be honest, I can't believe I didn't do a thumbs up here. There's got to be one in this video somewhere. Dremeling all these pieces did take forever, but it was so worth it because at the end they just look so much better. Here they are all finished, and I'm sure you'll agree it was worth it. Now I've brought back the neck piece that I set aside earlier, and the very top edge gets a bevel cut just to give it a nice little lip at the top. I then use contact adhesive in the channel that I've just made, wait for it to dry a little, and then tilt that top edge up slightly to stick it together to create that lip. And now I need to add more detail, and I'm going to call this kind of a spider web detail. I don't know if that's what it actually is, but that's what it reminds me of. I painstakingly cut this out of the template until it left me with just the detail that is going to be cut out of the foam. And after I transferred it onto the foam, it was time to do it all again and cut it painstakingly out of the foam. But I can't moan about it too much because it does look good, and the chest plate wouldn't have been complete without this detail. Then I just had to stick it down and it was complete. Oh, and there's your thumbs up. I knew there'd be one. And then I had to stick all of those lovely muscles to the base. This did take a while, but you know, necessary. I'm going to take another opportunity to ask if you haven't subscribed already to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please! And maybe check out my Instagram and TikTok as well, you know, whatever. And this is what it looked like once all of those muscle sections were stuck to the base. Now this thing is currently really flat, so what I needed to do was heat it up with the heat gun and mould it to shape so it fit better like a chest plate should. Trying to get that pectoral area looking curved and more natural like a body. I mean, not like my body. If I was to build my body, I'd be basing it on the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I also added some wire at the back to help it keep its curved shape. It also means it's movable, so the curves can kind of be changed if they needed to be. And this is how it looked once I finished playing about with the curvature, and I think it looks pretty sweet. And now I needed to add the piping details around the top and the bottom. And for this I used foam dabbles, and they worked so well for this project, so I do recommend you get some if you're going to build it yourself. It will just make your project look amazing. Because these are round, I did have to cut a section off the one I was going to stick to the bottom, just so it stuck flat to the base. And I am going to shout at myself here for not practicing what I preach, because I always tell everyone they need to use a sharp knife, and obviously it wasn't sharp enough here, so it did leave a bit of a mess. So I just used a bit of sandpaper to sand it down flatter. And then applying contact adhesive to both sides and then sticking it together. Have you hit the subscribe button yet? I'm trying to hit 2,500 subs. Then I stuck the piping to the top of the chest plate, but I didn't have to cut it this time because it wasn't a completely flat edge. And as you can see, the foam dowels just worked perfectly. Now I just needed to add the spiderweb neck piece back on, and I'll be totally honest, I struggled a little bit to do this and I have absolutely no idea why. But this is how the chest plate looked once all the pieces were stuck on. I love it! This is what the back looks like. I added some straps down from the shoulders and around the middle to make it wearable. Then I just attached some Velcro to these, which made it adjustable so the straps can kind of be any length that they needed to be. Then, because I'm a messy glue spreader, I just used some white spirit on a cotton bud to get rid of any excess glue that I might have left behind. Then I used some quick seal on the seam at the top that I wasn't happy with, just to fill this in so it was less noticeable. The piping on the chest plate has these line designs on it, so to do these I just drew them on where I thought they should go, then I scored them with my knife and heat it up with my heat gun to open the lines up, and it made the design pop. Now that the building was complete, it was time to seal the project. I just use a brush to apply this and I give it about 3 layers, and this is what it looks like after those 3 layers have dried. I then use masking tape to cover the areas of the piping that I don't want to be covered in the pinky purple paint. And I cover the neck piece in tin foil, mainly because I ran out of masking tape. Now the pinky purple colour that I found that works perfectly for this project is Vallejo airbrush paints in Warlord Purple. And like the name of the paint suggests, I use this in my airbrush, and I probably ended up putting on about 6 to 7 layers of this paint to get full coverage. This was it after 2 layers of the paint. This was it after 4 layers. This was me painting on the final layer of the paint. And this is what it looked like once all the layers of the paint were painted on and it was dry. Now to paint the silver parts, and again I'm using Vallejo airbrush paint, this time in chrome. And because I couldn't really be bothered to tape up all the pink bits, I decided to brush this on by hand. I hand painted all of the piping and all of the raised spiderweb design. That's still what we're calling it, spiderweb. And this is how it looks once all of the painting was complete. That's a Gambit chest plate. And that, my friends, is the Gambit chest plate complete. If you are still watching this video and are here till the bitter end, I want to give you a huge thank you for sticking with me this far. If you've enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up like. And though I've already said it about 87 times through this entire video, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you could do that, that would be incredible. I'm trying to hit 2,500 subs, and that would just be awesome. I also have a coffee donation page set up. I will leave the link in this video. There's no pressure to donate, but all donations go towards creating content for this channel to make it even bigger and better. So that's all I've got to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed already. And as always, I'll see you next time.